Okay, welcome. Today we're doing a deep dive into Genesis chapter 29.
Mm-hmm. A really pivotal chapter.
It really is. It feels like it sets up so much. We see Jacob's journey continue, love, deception, big family dynamics starting.
Absolutely. It's packed. You have the continuation of his journey east, heading towards his mother's family in Haran.
Right. And the scene opens. It's quite vivid. He arrives at a well out in a field. There are flocks gathered.
And this detail about it's covered by a huge stone, a really big one.
Yeah, and the text points out the custom, doesn't it? You have to wait for all the flocks.
You do. It implies, teamwork, needing several shepherds to actually move this thing. It's a communal spot.
It's a certain expectation, cooperation, shared resources.
Exactly. But then Jacob starts chatting with the shepherds who are already there. He asks about Laban, his uncle.
Just checking he's in the right place, finding his bearings.
And they know him. They say Laban as well. So good news for Jacob so far.
But while they're talking,
Here she comes.
Rachel arrives, Laban's daughter, with her father's sheep.
And the text makes a point of calling her a shepherdess. She's involved in the work.
That feels important. She's not just waiting at home.
No, she's active.
Yeah.
And her arrival is, well, it's the trigger. Because Jacob sees her and something just clicks.
It really does, because what does he do? He completely ignores that custom about waiting for everyone.
Totally ignores it, walks up, and the text says he rolls the stone away by
Oh,
himself.
that huge stone. Just like that.
Just like that. And then he waters Laban's flock, Rachel's sheep.
Wow. That's quite an entrance, or an action. What do you make of that? Strength? Showing off?
It could be strength, definitely, but also maybe just this overwhelming feeling seeing Rachel, like a convention just flew out the window, an immediate, powerful impulse.
And then the emotion hits. He kisses Rachel, and then he weeps aloud.
Yeah, it's quite a reaction, relief. Finding family, instant love, it's intense, whatever the root cause.
He tells her who he is, Rebecca's son, her father's relative, making the connection clear.
And she runs off, naturally, to tell her father, Laban.
Laban's reaction seems pretty positive at first glance.
Very. He hears the news his sister's son,
Yeah.
rushes out, embraces Jacob, kisses him, brings him home. It seems warm, welcoming.
Jacob then tells him all these things, presumably his story, why he left home.
We can piece that together.
Yeah.
And Laban's initial response is exactly what you'd hope for. You are my own flesh and blood.
That sounds promising. Jacob stays with him for a whole month, settling in, helping out.
Seems like it. But after that month, the tone shifts a bit.
Yes. Laban brings up payment.
He does. He acknowledges the family tie, but says, you shouldn't work for me for nothing. What should your wages be?
So the relationship becomes transactional. Business enters the picture.
Right. And this is where we get the formal introduction of Laban's daughters.
Yeah.
Leah, the older one.
Described as having weak eyes. What does that usually mean?
Interpretations vary. Maybe soft, gentle eyes, perhaps less striking, less conventionally attractive compared to her sister.
Because Rachel, the younger one?
Is explicitly called lovely in form and beautiful. The contrast is deliberate and sets up Jacob's preference.
No ambiguity there. Jacob saw Rachel at the well and he was smitten. He's in love.
Deeply. And so he makes his offer to Laban.
7 years. 7 years of work for Rachel.
It's a huge commitment. He puts a price on his desire, essentially.
And Laban. He agrees. Says it's better to give her to Jacob than some other man. Tells him to stay.
Seems straightforward enough. And then we get that line about the time passing.
Oh, that's beautiful. Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, but they seem like only a few days to him because of his love for her.
It really speaks volumes about his feelings for her, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How love just changed his perception of that long servitude.
So the 7 years are finally up. Jacob goes to Laban. My time is complete. Give me my wife.
He's ready. He did the work. He expects the agreed-upon reward. Laban throws a big wedding feast, invites everyone.
Everything seems to be going according to plan. Celebration time.
But then evening comes. The feast is winding down. Maybe it's dark.
And Laban pulls the switch.
He brings Leah, the older daughter, to Jacob's tent. And Jacob sleeps with her, thinking she's Rachel.
The deception is just staggering, especially given Jacob's own history with deception.
The irony is incredibly thick. The deceiver gets deceived. Laban also gives Leah her own maidservant, Zilpah.
It's calculated. Using the darkness, the wedding customs, maybe a veil.
Whatever the method, the result is the same. The deal is broken.
And the next morning, the reveal must have been brutal.
Oh, absolutely. Jacob wakes up, sees it's Leah. Imagine the shock, the betrayal.
He confronts Laban immediately. "What have you done? Didn't I serve you for Rachel? Why did you deceive me?" You can just hear the anger and confusion.
He feels utterly cheated, and rightfully so. 7 years of his life based on a promise, now this.
And Laban's excuse, or explanation.
He brings up local custom. It's not our practice here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one.
Which might be true, but the way he did it. Waiting 7 years, the secrecy, the switch.
Exactly. It feels like a post hoc justification for trickery, not an upfront condition. It's manipulative.
And then, incredibly, he immediately proposes a new deal.
Right away. He says, finish Leah's bridal week fulfill the immediate marriage obligations, and then I'll give you Rachel too.
But there's a catch, of course.
A big one. In return for another 7 years of work.
Another 7. So Laban gets 14 years of Jacob's labor instead of the agreed 7.
It's extortion, basically. Jacob's trapped. He loves Rachel so much. Does he walk away from her now after everything? Or does he accept Leah and commit to another 7 years?
A terrible choice. And he accepts.
He does. He finishes the week with Leah. Then Laban gives him Rachel. And Rachel gets her own maidservant, Bilhah.
So now he has 2 wives. One he worked 7 years for out of love, the other acquired through this elaborate deception and a forced second contract.
And the text is very clear. Jacob lies with Rachel also, and he loves Rachel more than Leah. The preference is stated outright.
And he knuckles down and works those additional 7 years for Laban.
Fulfills his second bargain. But this dynamic, 2 wives, one loved, one unloved, creates immediate tension in the family.
Which is where the narrative brings in God's perspective.
Yes. It says, when the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren.
That's a powerful moment. Divine intervention responding directly to Leah's situation, her pain.
It shifts the focus. While Jacob favors Rachel, God shows compassion to Leah, allowing her to bear children first, establishing her line. Rachel, the beloved, struggles with infertility initially.
And Leah starts having sons. And the names she gives them, they tell her whole story.
They really do. Each name is like a window into her heart and her hopes.
First is Reuben. "See, a son," she says, but adds, "The Lord has seen my misery. Surely my husband will love me now." It's all about Jacob's love.
Her hope is pinned entirely on gaining his affection through this child. Then comes Simeon.
Meaning hearing. And she says, "Because the Lord heard that I am not loved, he gave me this one too." Still focused on being unloved, but acknowledging God's attention.
You see a slight shift, acknowledging God heard her cry, even if the core issue remains. Third is Levi.
Attached. She says, "Now at last my husband will become attached to me because I have borne him 3 sons." Still hoping the children will bridge the gap with Jacob.
3 sons. She's really hoping this is the turning point for his affection. But then the 4th son.
Judah, meaning praise. And her statement changes completely.
It does. She simply says, this time I will praise the Lord.
That feels different. Less about Jacob, more about gratitude, acceptance, a direct connection with God.
It seems like a breakthrough. A shift from longing for what her husband isn't giving her to praising God for what she has received. It's a powerful moment of turning.
And the text notes, after Judah, she stopped having children for a while.
Yeah. So this whole chapter, it's way more than just Jacob getting married. It's about the collision of love and labor, the ripple effects of deceit.
The pain of feeling unloved, the complexities within a family founded on such shaky ground.
And glimpses of divine action, intervening in the midst of all this human messiness. We see Jacob's passionate love, Laban's sheer calculation.
And Leah's really moving journey, finding her voice, and maybe a different kind of connection than the one she first yearned for.
It really lays the groundwork for so many future conflicts and dynamics within the 12 tribes that descend from these sons.
Absolutely. It makes you think, doesn't it? About how those initial agreements, those moments of deception, and even who we love and who feels left out, how profoundly that shapes not just one family, but maybe the course of history itself.